Hi, and welcome back. So today, as you saw in the this title and the thumbnail, we're going to talk about 10 ways you can increase your range on the Tesla Model 3. Now, not all of these are, not everyone is going to want to take advantage of all of these for various reasons, which I'll talk about in each one. But they are definitely 10 ways you can increase your range in your Tesla Model 3. So let's get into it. Aero covers. So you definitely want to keep the aero covers on your car, especially for longer trips. Now, I understand a lot of people may not like the way they look. Aesthetically, you may want to remove them and use the rims or put on different wheel covers. But the fact is, your aero covers increase your range or efficiency of your car by about 4.5%, which is pretty significant. And so therefore it increases your range about 4.5% if you use them continuously. So that's the first one. Use your aero covers on at least on long trips. It will definitely help improve your range. Preconditioning. Take advantage of preconditioning. The reason this will help improve your range is typically when you're at home, your car is plugged in. If you precondition your car, the car will get to the proper temperature using the power from your plug-in, your charge, and you will not drain your battery. So therefore, you won't waste energy getting your car either up to the warmth temperature you need when you drive or down if you're cooling to the temperature you would like when you're driving. So you definitely want to take advantage of preconditioning. Also, there is from what I've read, I'm not a physicist, but from what I've read, there is a advantage to preconditioning even when you're not plugged in. Like if you're at work and you're going to precondition before you go home, somehow the car is more efficient when you're not driving or warming up in one place or cooling off. Not sure how that works, but mostly my tip is for when you're plugged in, you want to take advantage of preconditioning. That will definitely help increase your range. Manage your speed. So when you're driving on the highway, this is where this comes into play, mostly on the highway. From what I've found in all the research I've done and from what the messages I've seen on my Tesla, keeping it under 70 miles per hour makes your car significantly more efficient. So your car will be much more efficient and therefore get better range if you keep it below 70 miles an hour on the highway. That's just one really good way. It's not a huge amount, but again, all these add up. So again, this is a good way to increase your range, again, on long trips. So if you keep your aero covers on a long trip, you manage your speed, keep it under 70, you can definitely increase your range, go a little further between charging stops, or spend less time charging. So keep your speed under 70 miles an hour. Use chill mode. So chill mode, you can set in your car under the driving modes. And basically what it does is it limits the acceleration arc of when you accelerate in your car. So it basically prevents what they call jackrabbit starts, where you're just real fast starting out, which you don't really need that because, is it fun? Sure. It can be fun to zip around at a off a red light. It's not as safe. But you can definitely increase your range because if you accelerate on a smoother arc, which is what chill mode will do, and you don't accelerate really fast all at once, your car is more efficient. It uses less energy to get up to speed gradually than it does to get up to speed really quick all at once. So that's a good way to increase your range that really doesn't cost you anything as far as looks or really performance, because do you really need to zip out at a green light? So chill mode is definitely a good option to increase your range. Managing your braking. When it's safe, it is much, much better to plan ahead when you're going to stop and allow the car to slow to a stop on its own. Also, going in linked in with this is using hold mode, because then you never need to touch your brakes, which means your regenerative braking does takes full advantage of slowing down the car and regenerating energy, which increases your range. When you don't plan to stop, so you're using the brakes because the regenerative braking won't stop in time, okay, you're basically taking away an opportunity for your regenerative braking to regenerate energy, put energy back in your batteries, therefore increasing your range. So it's very important, a really, really good tip, which again does not only does this tip not affect your performance in any way because it's about slowing down, but it also preserves your brakes. If you're not using your brakes, you'll never need to replace your brake pads, right? If you're allowing the regenerative braking to do 100% of the work, plan ahead, take your foot off the accelerator, well, and when you know your car will be able to stop within that distance without the brake and then go into hold mode, you'll never need the brake. You're not wearing down your brake pads, but most importantly, you're increasing your range because you're regenerating energy. So this one is not always easy to do, but it can be. And that is managing your heat and your air conditioning. With the newer model Teslas that have a heat pump, heating is not as, in the older ones, heating was used way more energy than air conditioning. In the newer models, heating is more efficient using the heat pump, but still more than the AC. Especially in terms of heating, use your heated seats. If you can get away with only using your heated seats, if it's not really that cold, that's what I do. That will definitely increase your range because it will preserve energy in the batteries. It takes way more energy to run the heater and heat the whole cabin than it does to heat a seat, especially if you're alone and it's only one seat. So use your heated seats, manage your heat. Don't always use it as high as it, as very high in terms of the air conditioning. Maybe open a window, use the vents without the air conditioning, and just put the fan on. So that'll use less energy, when you're using air conditioning. So you definitely want to manage heat and air because it will take less energy from your batteries, and the more energy that stays in your batteries, increased range. So this one is nothing new for electric vehicles, right? But it's manage your tire pressure. This is crucial. And a lot of people that drive any car, including ICE cars, they don't really pay attention to their tire pressure, which is really makes a difference in the efficiency of any vehicle. An underinflated tire will absolutely use more energy, whether it's an electric vehicle or an ICE vehicle using gas. So you definitely want to make sure that your tires are properly inflated. I check mine weekly, and you don't even have to get out of the car now that they have that update several updates ago where it'll keep the last known tire pressure. You just look it up. You know what your tire pressure is. If you need to add, you should add right away because it definitely affects the efficiency. And remember, if your car is more efficient, and it's driving more efficiently, you're going to get better range. Just like on a gas car, you're going to get more miles per gallon. Well, in your Tesla Model 3 or any Tesla, if your tires are properly inflated, you're going to be much more efficient. You're going to get better range in the long run. So make sure your tires are properly inflated. This is another one that works for all kinds of vehicles, both electric vehicles as well as internal combustion ICE vehicles. And that is keep the weight down, right? So if you don't have to be driving around with junk in your trunk, you want to empty out the car and keep it light. The fact is that less weight you're pushing is definitely going to make your car more efficient, right? Which is why Tesla works to keep the weight down, why they use the materials that they use to build the vehicle. On a side note, which goes in with keeping the weight down. That's why I prefer to get the run flat tires, right? They're a little more expensive to buy, but I don't have to carry a spare around. So that's a lot of less weight in the car. I mean, a spare tire and a jack and a wrench and all, that's a lot of weight, which absolutely affects the efficiency of the vehicle, right? So I go for the, now I know some people rely on Tesla Rangers or whatever they're called. I've never bothered with that. When I got my car right away, I put the run flats. I have other videos. Check out my videos about the run flats and the review of them. But basically, to me, that's an easy way to keep the weight down, which increases the vehicle's efficiency, which increases the range. So definitely keep the weight down. If you've got stuff that you've moved around or that you've transported, get it out of your trunk when you're done, or when you get home, or when you get where you're going. Don't keep driving back and forth with unnecessary weight in your car, because again, unnecessary weight makes your car less efficient, which means you don't get as much range. So keeping the weight down, more range. This next one is a personal choice, and it also is going to depend on your situation, right? You know, where you are, what your situation is. But if you can, keep Sentry mode off if you're not worried or you don't have a worry, especially having Sentry mode not be enabled like in your home or at your home if you don't need it. I don't know about if your place of work, if there's a secure lot, will definitely save energy. Sentry mode uses a lot of energy. It uses, I mean, I don't know exactly, but I've noticed the difference having it on. And then when I park and go into work, for example, if it's on, when I come out at the end of the day, there's a significant drop in my available range. You know, and when I say significant, I mean more than one or more than one or two, more than 5 miles. Or yeah, around there. So it uses around, you know, several miles worth of range just to keep Sentry mode on. So again, depending on your situation, you definitely want to manage Sentry mode. If you don't need it, don't use it. Turn it off. It will definitely save you energy. And again, more energy in the batteries equals more range. And finally, this last one is super easy for anyone to do, and as long as you have a home charger, and there's no reason not to do it, and that is keep your Tesla plugged in. The reason for that is your Tesla does things in the background all the time. It's constantly running things because it never fully shuts off, obviously. You know, it's definitely running processes. It checks for updates. It does things. So keeping it plugged in will use energy from your house rather than energy from the batteries, right? So by keeping the car plugged in, you're maximizing the amount of energy that remains in your batteries, and you're increasing your range. There's no danger to leaving a Tesla plugged in because the charging system manages your charging, and it will not allow the car to overcharge, all right? It will shut off when it's at the level you set it at. It will manage the speed at which it charges. So there's definitely no danger. In fact, Tesla recommends leaving your car plugged in. So that's a really good tip, really easy. Whenever you're at home, if you have a home charger, plug your car in and keep it plugged in. That way you're going to maximize the amount of energy that remains in the batteries and maximize your range. Okay, so those are my 10 tips. I hope they were helpful. I hope they become helpful for you in your Tesla experience. Thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't yet, click that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Comment. I answer all comments. Let me know what you think. If you have different information about any of these or any other ways people can save energy in their Tesla, put it in the comments. We'll all benefit from it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.